Hey everyone, it's Aubrey, recovering perfectionist, queen of distraction / gardener. Welcome back for another weekly garden tour this fall. I'm actually doing my garden tour a day earlier than I typically do, and I'm not gonna lie, it is 100% just because of how good my hair looks today. I know that there is absolutely no chance of this following me to tomorrow. Also, the weather is absolutely beautiful. I don't think it's necessarily going to be like this today. So we're just going to take a stroll through the garden, enjoy the sights in my hair, and we'll see where the day takes us. Alrighty, here we are, the fall garden. If you've been with me in the past, you may notice that the nasturtiums are gone. Those were starting to get pretty gross. So I pulled those down. It was time to let them go. And then there's another area of the garden that I ended up taking those down, which I will show you. This bed, we've managed to get a few little broccoli harvests off of. There was actually a pretty decent sized head that we were able to get a couple weeks ago. And then just every once in a while, there's still a new little baby popping in here and there, which of course the boys have been absolutely loving. Alec is still convinced that there's strawberries, but strawberry season is done. The peppers down here, all of those plants that actually have a pepper on them are ones that my mom had started for me and given to me. None of the ones that I planted ended up doing anything. And then one thing that Josh and I do want to do this year is just take out the healthiest peppers and then pot those. And I don't know if we'll be able to put them in the greenhouse. I think the greenhouse might end up being too cool. It's just not insulated as a greenhouse should be. So I think we'll either end up putting those in the house or in Josh's office with him. And then that way we'll end up having a head start next year, and hopefully we'll actually end up getting some peppers. My favorite thing to do with peppers, well, Josh's favorite thing to do, is to make cowboy candy. It's like a sweet pickled sliced jalapeno, and it really just zhuzhes up like so many dishes, and we absolutely love them. And then we also love peppers for fire cider, which we need to start making sometime soon because it's fall and it's cold and flu season. And then up here, our cherry tomato plant has been doing so good. I need to come through here with one of the boys and do a harvest. Probably Jackson, because he actually likes cherry tomatoes. Alec likes the idea of cherry tomatoes, and he always bites them and then ends up spitting them and throwing them on the floor. So he is kind of off. He's off cherry tomato duty for a while. The vines are starting to die back a smidge, so pumpkin harvest around the corner. And I haven't picked any of the carrots in here yet. Hopefully there's not another bunny burrow, but it is probably time to start thinning those out. I've been trying to thin out the carrots here, and I should have had the boys pick more every time that they were in here, just because the carrots that we are getting are like short and fat. They're like almost like a thin golf ball, I'd say. There have been a few ones that have been decent size, but I mean, hey, they work. They're great for snacking and soups and stuff. And then I thought that the green beans were done, but just here we go, another round, which I am not complaining. At the beginning of the gardening season, I was talking about how I was so excited for green beans with bacon and onion from the cast iron, and it is really such a delicious dinner, but we have had it quite a lot lately, and I'm honestly kind of over it. So I've just been snapping the beans and throwing them in a Ziploc in the freezer, and obviously those will be nice to have, come winter and whatnot. And then here we are in cabbage land. It's gonna be time to take that baby out soon. Not really sure what's happening with this one, but this one over here is the one that really made it come back. Like, there was just the craziest pest damage at the beginning of the season, but it really bounced back, and I feel happy about that. The cherry tomato plant here in this basket did not do that great. And I think that there were just a few times where I may have forgotten to water the garden, and where it was okay for everything in the raised beds, the little hanging basket just ended up drying out so much quicker. And I don't know if I would have gotten more life out of it if it was regularly watered, but I don't know if I'll end up doing that again. I imagined oh, this is a great space-saving option, having your cherry tomato in a hanging basket, but it didn't really end up working out. And then the nasturtium carpet that was over here is long gone. Also, and can we just take a moment to enjoy that large sunflower that popped up in there? I love being able to peek out the kitchen window and see that. It makes me so happy. Speaking of sunflowers, here's a new bloom. Hello there, friend. And then here we go. Our tomatoes are absolutely beautiful, just obviously green. A little over a week ago, my mom came over and she helped me. She just cut off a bunch of the unnecessary leaves up top, and then I pulled back a bunch of the green bean leaves over in this section, just kind of hoping to give these some kind of sun. But really, we're just at that time of year where I'm realizing I can't do a fall garden. Just we're not getting really any anymore. Over here, it's quite sad. Like, we get a small chunk over there at the end of the day, but even that's probably going to be gone within the next couple weeks or so. So we are thinking about relocating, or not relocating, but just making another garden over there. We used to have one over yonder behind the tree over there, but that was on the parcel of our property at the time that we did end up selling. There was like 99% of our garden on the other property, so we had to take it down. And at the time I was pregnant with Alec, very tired of walking all the way out to the garden, and we just thought, wouldn't it be nice to have a kitchen garden close to the house? But it's really only useful for a summer specific kind of harvest because we lose the sun so quick. So we're thinking about doing another garden out there. The only thing that we're kind of battling with is that portion of the yard. It floods every year, so we're going to track the level of the water this year and see if having a garden out there is something that we want to invest our time in again. Big grapevine. The time of year to cut that back is not now, so we'll probably be doing that, I think, probably at the end of winter, early spring. And then more little straggler sunflowers off of that big guy. I just love it. And then we're still having a little zinnia and some of our snapdragons pop through. I can kind of tell that they're starting to get impacted by the cooler temperatures. We haven't dropped down into the freezing temps yet, but we're starting to get into like the 40s and stuff at night here and there. So it's just that time of year. Oh darn, there was a baby zucchini that I saw last week and that happened. Sad. I'm honestly not super disappointed. I will survive. I still have several zucchinis that are on my counter that I need to deal with, and still some frozen shredded zucchini in my freezer that is from last year. Alrighty, here is the bean teepee. A very uneventful bean teepee, but Alec did stand in it yesterday and he seemed excited about it. So I guess I will count that as a win and a success for the year. And we'll rethink the bean teepee next year and put it in an area of the yard where it's actually getting watered. These pumpkins here, there was a decent sized one on there, but it ended up accidentally getting knocked off when Jackson was mowing the lawn. Let me see if I can find the runner up. I can't find it. We're not gonna search too hard. I'm hoping that one matures enough to where I can get some good seeds from it. The little one that Jackson did end up knocking off, he already carved a small jack-o'-lantern, and it's quite adorable. My calendula is just still going strong. I swear, like, I'll cut like 20 to 30 heads of the calendula off, I'll dry them, and then it's like 2 days later there's just more, which I'm not complaining about, but I'm just like, when are you gonna stop? And how are the chickens getting out? Like, somebody's always escaping. This guy's really adapting to the wind there. And these morning glories, I love them. I definitely imagined getting more. I planted a ton in that section, and I guess I'm thankful that I at least got a couple vines. So I'll count it as a win, and I will save the seeds for next year. Over here, everything is really dying back. There are a couple of the small white pumpkins that Jackson broke off. I told him to leave this one. I wanted to let the stem on this one harden a little bit, but I just love these little babies. And there's that. I think that definitely is that blue Jardale pumpkin. I'm so excited about that. Oh, and then, I didn't know about you. And Jackson has just been on my case about pulling the corn off of the stalk. And I think that we're getting close. Originally, we had only seen one cob of corn on that one stalk that grew out of the 29 seeds that I planted. So, I mean, there were more that grew, just things got to them. So I'm very thankful that stalk is giving us more than just one ear. Did I say cob, ear, whatever. We've got more than one thing of corn, and my 8-year-old is ecstatic about that. Alrighty, to the big pumpkin section. This is the runner-up. And just the most massive vine. And there's this guy here, our big winner, the big kahuna, if you will. So cool. Gosh, it's just a flippin' beautiful day. I'm just loving it. Okay, we're gonna look at the zinnias, and then we're gonna wrap things up. Alec and I just cleared these out again the other day. Made a tiny arrangement. I love this time of year when everything starts dying back. There's so much satisfaction, and obviously like the growing part and the harvesting, but then there's just such a peace when it comes to like everything coming to the end of its life and whatnot, and it's just a good fun time. There's a little chicken. That's not her name. You don't have a name. Maybe Olga the Third. I don't know. Okay, well, that is all. Thank you for tagging along with me. Why does that loud car just have to ruin this moment of peace and tranquility? Idiots. Thanks for hanging out with me for another day in the garden. I will see you next week. As always, I love you. Have fun and be kind.